It's 10 totally random questions from one of my confidence rounds that I use to close out all my live trivia nights, and you can score 55 points if you're real smart and good at ranking your answers. This is a confidence round, and this is Trivia with Buds. What it be? And welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. How you doing? And welcome. Hopefully you're having a great week, a start to your week as we move into probably the last work week for mostly everybody, with Christmas and Christmas Eve just next week. I'll be flying to Chicago, and I'm super excited to see all my friends and family there. But before then, I'll be recording a ton of podcast episodes to post for that whole time that I'm gone. And then I'm going to record some fun ones with those same friends and family when I'm visiting in the second city. So that should be a ton of fun in weeks to come. Got some great topics for our December picks from our Patreon subscribers. Here's just a few of the topics picked so far that will be coming up over the next 10 days or so. We have child stars from my pal Earl. My friend Mo wants Christmas TV specials. Alex DeSmo wants 90s music anything. He said any 90s music will do. Carrie wants Boy Meets World, and Luke McKay wants The Mighty Ducks. So lots of fun topics coming for the picks for December. If you want to pick a topic that I do on the show, just shoot me an email, ryanbuds@gmail.com, and I'll try and work it into the schedule in months to come. If you want me to do it sometime in the next 30 days, become a Patreon subscriber at the $5 or more level. You can find out more info on that by going to patreon.com/trivia with Buds. Today's episode is a confidence round. It's 10 totally random questions, and I use these to close out my live nights. I kind of hijacked this idea from my friend Tony Valley, and Yes, I Am Showbiz, which was a company in Chicago that I started hosting trivia for in 2011. And he would use these confidence rounds to close out his trivia nights, and I thought it was a really fun way to do that. So I hit him up and said, hey, can I do that? And he said, yeah, no problem. So I've been using these to close my trivia nights for the last 6 years or so, and you can get 55 points. Basically, if you were playing along at home, you'd write down all your answers, and then you would rank them off to the right or left. You'd rank each answer 10 to 1. 10's the thing you're most confident in, 1's the thing you're least confident in, and you want to use all those numbers in between each one time. So if you add all those up and you had them all correct, you'd get 55 points. But let's say you miss, the thing you gave the 9 to and the thing you gave the 1 to, that would be 10 total points that you missed. So that would bring you down to 45 points. So that's how you would score it up for yourself. These are a little bit tougher as they do close out the trivia. So it's usually some pretty random ass information, but maybe you can figure out a few of these and take some educated guesses. So I ask you the questions. You can rank them yourself at home if you're writing them out. If you're playing along in a car and you don't have something to write on, it might be a little bit tough, but hey, you can listen to 10 totally random questions and just see how many of those you get anyway. So we're going to jump into those 10 confidence round questions right now. Here we go. All right, this was from a couple weeks ago. This was the 12-10-18 trivia week out here in Southern California, and these were the 10 questions that closed out my live nights that week. Here's question number 1. Prometheus is an inner satellite of what planet? Number 1, Prometheus is an inner satellite of what planet? Question number 1. Confidence round number 2. In DC Comics, Lois Lane had a younger sister that had a name that started with L. What was her younger sister's name? Number 2. In DC Comics, Lois Lane had a younger sister with what L name? Number 3. U.S. geography. Kansas shares all of its southern border with what state? Number 3. Kansas shares all of its southern border with what U.S. state? Question number 4, what 1993 movie is subtitled The Bruce Lee Story? Number 4, what 1993 movie is subtitled The Bruce Lee Story? Question number 5, what is Kyle's brother's name on South Park? Number 5, what is Kyle's brother's name on South Park? Number 6, little sports mixed in for you. This is where usually I mix in a sports question, unless I'm doing a whole round on sports. Who became Mr. November when he hit a walk-off homer in November? Number 6, which athlete became Mr. November when he hit a walk-off homer in November? Number 7, confidence round. Who was the first winner of America's Next Top Model? Number 7, who was the first winner of America's Next Top Model? Number 8, which Australian played James Bond? Which Australian played James Bond? Number 9, what team won the 100th anniversary Stanley Cup? Number 9, what team won the 100th anniversary Stanley Cup? And number 10, what is the S in the NATO phonetic alphabet stand for? Number 10, what does the S in the NATO phonetic alphabet stand for? All right, those are your 10 confidence round questions. If you're playing along at home with a pen and paper, rank all your answers after you've written them down. Give the 10 to the thing you're most confident in, give the 1 to the thing you're least confident in, and use all the numbers in between. If you add them all up, you would get up to 55 points. And as we go over the answers in just a few seconds here, you can kind of score them up and go, ooh, I got the 10, I got the 8, I got the 7, etc. And let's see what your score is. Send me your scores in a tweet at Ryan Buds or ryanbuds@gmail.com. Always love seeing those scorecards. So we're going to go to those answers to these 10 questions right now. All right, we're back with the answers to the confidence round, 10 totally random questions. These are the rounds that people usually struggle with the most. So if they're cruising, if they know the first 4 rounds and they use their doubler wisely, and, it's like Friends and December crossword and, first lines of books. And then they get to this confidence round. They might have been kicking butt, and then this could change the whole course of the game. So that's why I like it so much. I think it makes for a fun trivia night, and it gives you a good mix of questions, kind of like you're playing Jeopardy or something. So here are the answers to the confidence round questions. Just a forewarning, I probably would have got 25 points out of 55 on these. I think I would have only got a few of these correct. Let's see how you did. Number 1, Prometheus is an inner satellite of what planet? That is Saturn. Saturn has a inner satellite called Prometheus, like that movie, which I didn't see. Number 2, in DC Comics, Lois Lane had a younger sister also with an L name. Her name was Lucy. I have a niece named Lucy down in Florida, and Lois Lane had a sister named Lucy. Number 3, Kansas shares all of its southern border with what state? That is the OK State and the home state of listener and my first Patreon subscriber, Alexis Eck. It's Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Number 4, what 1993 movie is subtitled The Bruce Lee Story? That is Dragon. The name of that movie, Dragon, The Bruce Lee Story. Number 5, what is Kyle's brother's name on South Park? Similar to the DC question about Lois's younger sibling named Lucy. I didn't even realize that. Number 5, what is Kyle's brother's name on South Park? It's Ike. He is Canadian, I believe. And adopted? I guess he's adopted on that show. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up. Someone tell me. Number 6, who became Mr. November when he hit a walk-off homer in November? That was Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter, who I think used to date Madonna. Is that right? Number 7, who was the first winner of America's Next Top Model? Adrienne Curry. Adrienne Curry. She's spicy, according to her last name. Number 8, which Australian played James Bond? That was George Lazenby. He was like just a dude. I think he was like a fix-it man or a car salesman. There's a documentary about him on Hulu, and they have like actors playing him as he was younger, and then he kind of narrates it as an older guy. And he was just like a dude or a model or something. And somehow they were like, you're going to be James Bond. And he was like, okay. Like he had never acted at all. So look that up. I think it's called Becoming Bond on Hulu. Great little documentary about George Lazenby. Number 9, what team won the 100th anniversary Stanley Cup? So this was in 1993, which I guess was the 100th anniversary of the 1893 Stanley Cup. And the winners in 93 were the Montreal Canadiens, number 9. And number 10, what is S in the NATO phonetic alphabet? That is Sierra. Sierra, like Sierra Mist, which replaced, I think, Slice for Pepsi, I believe. Maybe Slice is a different company. But Sierra Mist in the late 90s came out, and Sierra is the S in the NATO phonetic alphabet. How'd you do, guys? How many of those did you get out of 55 points? Did you get a 35er? Did you get a 34er? Did you get maybe a 25er like I said I would have got? Or did you somehow get all 55 points? Be honest and let me know. If you got all 55, that would be pretty impressive. And your team could have come to the top at one of my live trivia nights, so that would have been very cool. If you like this kind of round, we've done it a few times before. You can search the phrase confidence round trivia with Buds on Google, podcast, something like that. It'll come up. And you could check out all the other times we've done that. And I'll try and remember to do this more often because I know people do like the random assortment of questions. There's also a great website you could check out. They don't update it anymore, but if you want some totally random questions, just search Random Trivia Generator. Some of them are not super accurate, though, so make sure you always, if you're using them for something, you Google the actual source of the question, especially if you're like, I don't know if that's right, because I've done that before, and I'm like, oh, that is definitely not right, or the spelling was off or something like that. So make sure to do that. And if you want some more random trivia, just let me know. I can send you a ton of these confidence rounds. Like I said, I have one for every week over the last 6 years. So there's probably a few hundred of these floating around. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for playing along. And again, if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/trivia with buds. Throw a few bucks and get some great rewards. All new rewards coming in January 2019. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. And we'll see you tomorrow for more Trivia with Buds. Cheers.